Yes.
I'm getting this phone.
It's your birthday.
You want that song?
Yeah.
You are now listening to
Smells like the remnants of Best Buds. Miles, nice to meet you, man.
Peace Village. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk with Casho on the Worldwide Flavor Network. We are going to continue this ride. We good? Everything good?
Everything good.
Everything good? Peace? We good?
Peace.
All right.
Good.
Thank you for tuning in this evening. Happy Monday to everyone.
Happy Monday.
I took off work a little early today, y'all. It's going to catch me some sunlight.
Me too. My supervisor's gonna kill me.
You took off because Larry's coming on.
I did take off because I went home and put on some fresh perfume. Changed the blouse. Got cleaned up for love.
Cleaned up real good, huh?
Man, I'm telling you. Real quick, what I'd like to do is reflect on something that happened over the weekend. I want to send some love and light out to anyone who's lost a loved one this weekend. It was really bad. Things happened over the weekend that were bad. I don't want to down everything too much, but peace and love and light to anyone who's lost anyone who's grieving, anyone who's going through depression. Just know that a brighter day is coming. Listen to the show. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. Aren't we? Y'all are dead. What's going on? Where my people's at?
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. All right. This show is being sponsored by the wonderful residents at the Weinberg Place in West Baltimore. Weinberg. Thank you for everyone. They had a listening party the other day. They did. And they texted me. They were like, okay, you need to do this. Let's not do that. And I said, we're not listening to anyone. We're going to ride.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Mom. Say hi to Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Touch was going to call your name, Mom.
I surely was. I was like, never mind.
We're going to start this show off with our inspirational moment, as we always do. Okay.
Yep. As soon as my phone turns on.
Absolutely. Wow, that's serious.
Talk from the heart.
Miles,
Hey, what's up, sis?
how was your day today?
Man, it's pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
You feeling pretty good?
Hey, I'm just happy we out of winter. Like, it's
Don't say
warm.
that. We're in Baltimore. Winter can be tomorrow.
That's true. And it is March, too.
Yes, it is still March.
But it's a lot warmer than what it used to be, so.
I'm enjoying the sunlight. Are we ready? Tay, let's take them to the inspirational moment.
All right, this inspirational moment was actually written by a person that's very dear to me. His name is Powerful Mind Allah. And it goes a little something like this. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs. The ones who accept you for who you are. The ones who do anything to see you smile. And love you regardless to whom or what. I didn't read this poem until, I want to say maybe 3 years ago. And I didn't realize how truthful this poem was until something traumatic happened to me. You know, you think you have a bunch of people in your corner, and then you feel that the ones that are related to you by blood are going to always have your back, and you find out that that's not actual, not at all. I met Kesha shortly after this, and I must say that she is one of the closest family members I've ever had in my life. She's been there for me, for good and bad, spoiled me, lets me be spoiled, and from her I've learned to surround myself with people that do the same, because I'm selfish like that. Yes, me.
That's the Virgo in her.
Sorry. You know, down to the people that I work with, to the ones that I have around my children. Just because I'm related to someone doesn't mean that that person is meant to be there for me or be around me. The people that are your real family are the ones that are always there for you. Good, bad, ups, downs. The ones that know you and really know you. The ones that you can't say, but I'm good. Because they know you BSing. So, shout out to the real ones, the real family. Whether they in your DNA or out your DNA. Because family does not mean that you have to be related to them. Family means they from the heart. Peace.
Wow. Indeed.
Bars.
Bars.
Are you from New York?
I am.
Okay, I thought I heard some New York in there.
Can't you spell beat?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
That's wrong. I'm sorry.
What was the question again?
I didn't ask you a
Oh,
question.
I thought I was supposed to do that.
Oh, no, you can. No. It's just
Okay.
if anything you feel, what you feel from what she says, you want to chime in, help yourself.
That was deep. She dropped the mic already, but I mean, all I'm gonna say is I feel like this is important to say is your environment holds the key to your success. So put yourself in a position to thrive. Like she said, like-minded people don't have to be related to your people. I mean, related to you. They don't got to be blood, but as long as you in an environment with positive people, I feel like when you put out positive energy, you attract positive energy. So the more you stay around that, the more positive you become.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to do. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm surrounding myself by those that have what I want, that know how to get where I want to be, that can give me the tools, show me, not give them to me, but show me how to use the tools. Thank you, Warrior. Definitely.
Give me the tools, and then I'll use them.
Well, either way, it's however your perspective is. Just do what you can do to make yourself better.
He gave me a pen and paper.
You need to write some stuff there. What is it?
No, he said that's the tools, a pen and paper.
But it is a tool. It's a tool for your poetry. Look at all the poetry that you write, so that is a tool. I say get her what's that pen called that Aminette likes so much?
The gel.
The gel pens and the nice paper. Yeah, do that. But no, surround yourself by love and positivity. And if you don't have that in your circle right now, seek it. If you want it, give it. Be what you want, and it will happen. It will come to you. And I'm a living testament. Be what you want. It'll come to you. I'm working. We're all working, but it will come. Guys, I really appreciate you. If you'd like to chime in on the inspirational moment, you can give us a call at 240-324-9069. That's 240-324-9069. We're going to take a quick commercial, and we're going to come back with Mr. Lancaster.
This is Bree Bay, Cool K.
Mr. Motivation.
Catch Gold Diggers live every Monday at 7 p.m.
Only on Worldwide Flavor Network.
Strive for the best, y'all. Keep digging.
It's our time.
Peace.
Definitely don't want to have a lot of money. That was your car?
Yeah.
It always sound every time it goes up. I always think it's mine. Man.
Yeah.
Like my man with the
I hit the
sound.
button by
And I don't
accident.
even know what this sounds.
Yes, well, my
I'm asking because
She messed me up.
I don't even know how I want to introduce you.
This dude.
This
This mother.
Like your hair.
Thank you.
cool. This mother.
That's where you started with, ladies and gentlemen.
We live? Okay.
Are we live? Kids, who watching? What's going on Facebook?
Hey, yo, I'm gonna have to try it on a laptop. For some reason on my computer at work, when I import a video into that DaVinci thing, I never get any sound.
Okay. You have it on your home computer.
I'm gonna put it on my laptop tonight.
Okay. Yeah, it should be pretty easy, but if you have any issues, just bring it.
Yeah, because I don't understand.
We should have played that Value City commercial. I just thought about that. Wasn't it Value City, Larry? Wasn't it a Value City commercial you did?
This is a lot of it.
Okay.
You did a commercial for Value City.
I don't know. Hey,
Buy our beds. Our beds are soft and large.
No, I did a lot of BT commercials.
Not BET, it was something else. Lowe's. It was Lowe's.
Yeah, that was for BT.
For home improvement?
They do Arby's, Lowe's, Macy's.
Wow.
Did a lot of. but they were all for under BET. That was just a contractor. So I did a lot of movie trailers, like whatever movie was coming out, Tyler Perry movies, Expendable, stuff like that.
We need to save that.
Did she send you the bio?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, she should have sent you the bio.
240-324-9069.
You know this is like 7 minutes long, right?
I'm going to give him a second.
Oh, I need to sing?
No, I would be such an asshole if I could sing. I walk around with an ascot in the video. I wouldn't even talk to people. I had like the person that talk, and I whisper to them, Mr. Lancaster doesn't wish to be bothered right now.
You know what? I think I would grab out that person talking for you.
I would be that person.
Oh my goodness.
If I could sing, God knew what he was doing. You don't want
One
you
too
no
many
more of an
gifts.
asshole than you already are.
You know what though? That's one thing, and anyone that I've spoken to about you, that's one thing they don't say about you. They say other stuff, but not that.
Other stuff. She had to add that much, right?
It's like other stuff.
Can you hand me a bottle of water, please? I don't know where my water is.
It's so far.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Sound like she delivering a baby. What's going on over there?
That's not how I sound when I was delivering that baby.
I know
I
how
don't
you
know.
sound.
Did I say that? Did I say this motherfucker? I didn't.
No, you know what she said? He's coming. They were like, no. She's like, no,
They
he's
did. They
coming.
was like, he's not coming. And I was like, no, he's coming.
We're not giving you much choice right now.
You didn't. He was like,
Get
over
you out of here. That's because I was about to drug him.
He ain't want that.
She's ready to go back with this game. Fade this out.
See, this is good music. But ain't one thing, it's another. Wow.
Who sings this song?
Frankie Babylon.
Oh, young fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get on you. I'll just give you information. It's Frankie
we're gonna leave that
Babylon.
alone.
Appreciate it. Y'all always got some good sound on there. Y'all be playing on it.
Man, just wanna know my flavor. What's my flavor?
Sure is.
Frankie, Beverly, and Maze.
Yeah, but he's Frankie.
I
Yeah,
got the Maze part.
Frankie and them.
Frankie.
Bring it
That's
in.
basically all it is.
Now, that band is a beast.
Yeah.
I actually went to go see them live at Pier 6. Because you know, you hear about it, I never went to go. And I probably would have never done it, but a good friend of mine was like, you gotta go see Frankie Beverly live in concert. She go every year. And whenever they hear, she goes. So I just went. And it was awesome.
That was then though. He's not gonna be able to do the same now. His voice is pretty good.
This was when the rumors first started about his voice or whatever. But
Yeah.
when he sung,
You couldn't tell.
you couldn't tell. But then I heard people say after that he didn't. But I heard it before I heard him sing, and he sounded great. And the band comes out and play for like 20 minutes before he
Before they even come out.
And I mean, the band, it's just the way the instrumentation sound. It's amazing, because you know sometimes when you hear bands play live, it always say like they play faster. For some reason, like the music is not,
Lauren Hill does
but
that.
they sounded just like
Does
Lauren-
she?
but
Funny how
she
many
did
things
on
situation.
the
She
radio.
can't do that.
It's
She's
amazing.
legally, she can't play her music the way she recorded
What
it.
happened to his
Because a lot of her
voice.
music,
They
the
had stroke
instrumentation and things, either she didn't
And that's
write
something that a
it
lot of
was
singers,
something
because
legal
they
that
use
she
it so
cannot
much, they get
perform
polyps
it the
and
way
all these
she
different things, so they
recorded
get, a lot of the times they have issues with their voices.
Well, Lauren Hill, not Lauren Hill. I just said the same thing.
And I
Erykah
think he
Badu
may have
is
smoked
something
for a
similar.
long time. I think
She doesn't
Freddie
sing her
Beverly,
music
like,
exactly
smoked for
how
years,
she records it.
I'm not sure about Lauren, but I mean, I'm not sure about her.
A
I
lot
know
of
that.
real rough lifestyle, they drinking, they smoking.
Fade on out.
So that's what's wrong with her. That's why she can't play. That's why
yeah.
she gotta do her music like that.
Lauren? Why
Who
you
owns the
say?
shit? Wyclef?
I don't know. Right, should
Probably.
might be. Are we coming on?
Because people complain about that. They was like, she was
You
playing
can't
for
even
5
recognize
goddamn minutes and we ain't understand what song it was. We didn't realize it was
Lauren
this
Hill
song and it was that
speeds
song.
through her music, yo. It drives me nuts.
Cause she don't, as they say, she turned her back to the
Always.
stage. Like she's so
I always
disrespectful.
figured it's because she always got there so late anyway. She was at
Right,
work.
2 hours.
She showed up at all.
Who would have thought she'd turned out the way she did?
I wouldn't have. I really wouldn't.
Really?
have. She
Just
She makes good
don't-
music though, doesn't she?
She did.
She did.
Once a time.
Yeah.
No.
One time.
Long.
Team family, 2 minutes of Let's Talk with Kesha, Monday nights at 6 p.m. on the Worldwide Flavor Network.
Get up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I know, I got it, we got it. Peace, everybody. So, our guest today, ooh, look at those eyes. Our guest today is a host. He's a comedian. He's a model.
Don't tell people.
He's an actor.
That always embarrasses me.
Look in the mirror.
Are you
Look
a
right in the camera. He's a model. Everyone, Mr. Larry Lancaster's in the building. What's up, Larry?
What's happening, beautiful people? I feel the vibe in here. It's like a black bookstore or something. Like y'all, it seems like everybody in the studio is vegan or something.
I just had a vegan sandwich.
Yeah.
I just had a
I can
vegan
feel it. Like y'all just like incense and sage and,
I wanted to burn incense. They won't let me
and do
do it.
poetry. I feel that vibe in here. So I gotta behave because I'm a heathen. Y'all just say like good positive people. So you feel that vibe when you come in.
That's peace.
How are you? How was your day today?
It was great, man. Glad to be alive. Getting older, getting better, getting wiser, trying to be a nicer person.
Oh, that was a good
I
commercial.
said, yeah, I was.
That was a good commercial.
What was the commercial for? The inspirational moment.
No.
We haven't. No.
She's like, no, we can't use it.
What can we use it for? I want to use it for something. I have a question for you that I always wanted to ask. How did you get the nickname Joker?
The Joker?
Yes.
That actually came from my military days when I was in the Army. I was a Persian Gulf veteran.
Okay.
And I went in '89 right out of high school. And what people don't know is like when you in basic training, like you're out in the field, like you go and do different exercises and stuff. And sometimes you have a couple of minutes in between training. And the drill sergeants, they get bored, so they want to be entertained. So when they found out I was funny, they would say, Joker, we want to hear a joke. And then I would have to stand up in front of everybody and tell everybody a joke.
When did you find out you were funny?
The first time I realized I was funny, I was in 3rd grade.
Really?
And I was like the uncool kid in school. And so the kids used to tease me and pick on me, and I didn't have the fresh designer clothes and all that stuff. You know, I was cute, but I was homely. And so I wasn't the popular kid. And I remember one day I told a joke. I don't even remember what the joke was, but the whole class laughed. And I was like the cool kid for that day. And I haven't tried. And so what happened was I was like, I got to find a way to duplicate this moment. And so that was put me on my quest to be funny. But it started out as a defense mechanism, really.
Did you watch a lot of comedy as a youngster? Do you remember watching a lot
Yes,
of
I used to
comedy?
watch all those old Norman Lear sitcoms and all of that stuff. I used to watch Alice and One Day at a Time and Taxi. Like my comedy was, I was like 7, 8 years old, but my comedy taste was real mature. I used to like Soap and all of that stuff. I was a TV kid, you know, so I could tell the time by the TV. Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, and all of that stuff, and you get that old Jewish wit. And so I used to watch all of that stuff.
It transcends everything. Comedy is like music. If it's funny,
Yes,
it's funny.
if it's funny, you get it.
Yeah.
And even some things that you may not understand, because of course I didn't understand all of this stuff, but I knew it was funny. My
Archie
instincts
Bunker made
told me
you
it was
laugh.
funny. Yes, I love Archie
I
Bunker. The
love
Jeffersons,
Archie
The
Bunker.
Good Times, Fred Sanford, What's Happening. I love all of those sitcoms.
We're missing that on TV now. I'm not saying there's not good stuff on TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, but it's not like the
It's mainly
classics.
drama based, and it's hard to find really good comedies now. It's difficult.
So I heard you used to be a teacher.
No,
No.
never,
Never.
I actually I'm a hall monitor. You know
Ah.
the guy that tell the kids get out the hall and go to class? I do that. I just started doing that within the last 5 years because for a long time, I was actually a corrections officer for 13 years. I worked 3 years at the penitentiary, and I worked 10 years at Baltimore County Detention Center. People didn't know that. And so I would do the comedy at night. I had to be up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I did that for years. And one day I just decided, like, I'm not going to get discovered at the jail. I just need to leave. Because it doesn't really provide for anything else. So like one time I was opening for Tommy Davidson, and then I had to work overtime. So I had to get one of my buddies to come and work for me. I had to get my girlfriend at the time to bring me clothes, and I got dressed in the bathroom, and I had to run to the DC Improv and all that. It was just too much. And so I quit, just left. And with doing comedy, I was doing comedy for about 8 to 9 years, but then I found myself sliding into a depression because I was just working at night. I wasn't doing anything during the day. I was sleeping all day. I would work, stay out all night, 2, 3 in the morning, because I ain't had to get up. And I was like, I needed something with a sense of purpose, and I started working with kids in the school. And it's been really fulfilling. Like I really found my passion doing that as well.
Wonderful. What age children do you work with?
Well, I started out working with elementary school kids, and now I work with high school kids. And I'm also a mentor. They have I'm with this program where I go and pick the kids up, spend an hour a week with them, and take them out on outings and stuff like that, and try to help them with anger issues and other things.
That's what they need. Yeah, we need more.
Just try to be because this black male role models is definitely at a premium.
Yes, it is.
And coming into the business, did you have a mentor?
Well, yes. I had Howard G. mentored me, Ricky Shackelford, Stacy Carver, a comedian from Jersey who settled in Baltimore, and a guy named Jay Phillips, along with some other guys, but Lonnie Davis, Laughing Lenny, Joe Brecker, Michelle, Coca Brown. They all kind of took me under their wing, and I learned a lot from these comics. If I'm missing, there's so many comics that really just pulled me up and helped me. Mike Washington, Chris Paul, Rodney Perry, a lot of these guys pulled me and gave me a lot of information and just helped me. So I've really had good experiences with a lot of the older comics, Chris Thomas, Cameron Anthony, Fat Doctor.
Chris Thomas, I haven't heard that name in a while. The mayor.
Woods.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, man, just really helped me and looked out.
That is awesome.
I learned a lot from them.
When you take the children out on outings, well, not just taking them out on outings, but when you're spending time with them, are you teaching them anything about comedy? Or is it life skills and just?
No, it's almost like I have a dual personality. I'm a really serious, conscious person. So I mainly try to just work on them and just have them be in the presence of a man. A lot of these kids, their moms work a lot. They have 4 or 5 kids, and they're trying to take care of household or whatever, so they may not be able to spend the time with them. They're latchkey kids, or some of them don't have dads in the home, and they have anger issues and stuff like that. So just being a kid who grew up like that and understand what that's like, because that's actually how I started doing comedy. My mom had mental illness. She was paranoid schizophrenic, and I grew up in the projects in Baltimore. I had to fight a lot, saw a lot of crime and murder and drugs and all these type of things. And so I used comedy as a defense mechanism, because the kids used to tease me because my mom was like the crazy person in the neighborhood. So I had to get real good at cracking back.
Why is he laughing?
I know. Thank you for your sensitivity. I appreciate your empathy. He just
took you back to being a kid,
he
right?
just bust out laughing like, his mom was crazy. Oh my God, this is so funny.
He was one of the bullies.
So it started out as a defense mechanism, and then it developed into a skill. But I did it for years not knowing that I was funny enough to be a professional comedian. I didn't start doing comedy professionally until I was 30.
Did your family tell you were funny?
Yeah, everybody told me I was funny. And my family is really funny. Like, I come from a long line of very, very funny people. I'm not even the funniest person in my family. It's my uncle, my grandmother. Like, they're all very funny. And each of their personalities and brand of comedy is very unique. My mother was even funny, even in her mental illness. She was mean funny, though. She was like, could say something to you and you would be like, oh my God, they're so mean, but you still be laughing.
There's various degrees of funny.
That's funny. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful, though. So my question is, can you hear me good? My question is, what is the most important thing that you've learned over this process of like mentoring the young people, young boys, throughout that process of development?
Basically, no one owes you anything. You can sit around and cry about your situation, or you could do something about it. And that's the most important thing, that you have to want more for yourself, and you have to take accountability for your actions. And I think we enable our children because we kind of understand what they're going through, but you don't really help children when you do that. You're not preparing them for the real world, because at the end of the day, the real world doesn't care. They don't care if your mom's a crack whore. They don't care if your dad's is locked up. They don't care if you're poor and you know you're not being fed. It's like, what are you going to do to change your situation? And as a kid, you can't always do that, but you still can control yourself to a degree. And so the world is unforgiving, and you have to kind of forgive yourself for your situation and move on and try to figure out what you're going to do to get out of it. And I had to kind of learn that at an early age, because I was more like a parent to my siblings, because my mom, of course, she was, you know, dealing with her issues, so she was out doing whatever, and so I raised my brothers and sisters.
Wow. So what was like your release? Like, how did you like get it? Was it the comedy that helps you to cope with everything?
Before I really realized that I was a comedian, I used comedy as release, I was an artist, so I used to draw.
Wow.
And then I became a pretty good athlete, so basketball, art, and of course school, because I was good at public speaking, and I learned how to do that early on too.
A lot of cards on your plate.
I mean, just
I was gonna say, man, you always had a job.
just you know, trying to be good at different things.
Yeah.
But comedy was the one thing that I was just like, wow, I just wanted to focus all my attention and energy on.
Wow.
Something that I always wanted to ask you is, a lot of comedians, especially comedians like Kevin Hart, use their life and their family in their comedy. When something happens to you or around you, do you know immediately that that's going to be something that's going to turn up in one of your skits?
Sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. Sometimes, because comics are human too, and people think everything we do and say is a joke, and that's not true. I get mad, I get angry, I get disappointed, I get hurt, I get depressed, I have all these emotions. But when you're able to get on the other side of it, then you can find a comedy in it. Sometimes something happens to you and you deal with it just like a regular person. But then once you get on the other side, you can look back and figure out a way to make it funny. And that way it could be used to help somebody else.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received from a comedian that surpassed comedy? Like, it might have been, you might have used it in comedy, but it hit you in real life as well.
I remember I performed at this show and I did poorly, like a bomb. I ate it. And the guy, the headliner went up after me and he murdered the place, like he killed it. And he pulled me to the side and he said, I'm no funnier than you, I'm just more experienced. And so when he told me that, that was just like just hearing it and me saying it now sends chills with me, because this guy didn't know me from Adam. He could have just been like, oh, you suck, because comics are very cruel people. Like, we really ride people when they don't do well. And so he pulled me to the side, and him telling me that made me realize, like, I still could do this. Like, even though I just ate it, I could be just as good as this guy. And I always never forgot that, to pass that on to other comics. Like, no matter what you just did or how that show just went, you can still be better.
Do you still get nervous?
Every time.
Every time?
Every time.
Small
Whether it's
bit.
5 people or 5,000. And I've been in front of both crowds, and I still get nervous because I always want to do well, and I never take for granted that I am. So I try to work through the nerves. It's like being an athlete or a fighter, you know.
Or radio show host.
You have, right, you have those nervous energies, but then you learn how to harness it and use it to propel you instead of paralyzing you. That's the only difference between us and regular people. Regular people get paralyzed by it, but you use it to motivate you.
That's dope.
I love it. If you have any questions for Larry Lancaster, please give us a call at 240-324-9069. 240-324-9069.
The way you gave out that number sound like this is a test of the emergency broadcast.
I can't help it.
She sounds so professional.
She's really good.
Yeah. She does have the commercial voice.
She almost got the little Siri voice going on.
If you need anyone for radio voiceovers, my name is.
She could be Black Siri. You call her Berry.
You know, honestly, that's something that I want to do. That is something that I want to do.
Radio.
Voiceovers, I do. That's coming. It's coming.
Okay. Oh.
That's
So, you know my assistant principal, Tiffany Stewart. Shout out to Miss Stewart.
Tiffany
Miss
Stewart.
Stewart.
She was a dancer.
Oh,
What?
Not a stripper.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were being funny. I didn't.
No. She used to have you come out and do shows for the church.
I'm trying to
Don't
think.
ask me which church because I
Yeah, I'm trying to because I do so many churches the people stop, but I'm sure I know who she is.
Well, she knows who you are.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Tell Miss Tiffany I said hello.
Well,
Now you said she was a principal?
no, she's my assistant principal
Oh, where?
at Robert W. Coleman.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Give a shout out to those babies.
Yeah, give a shout out to Robert W. Coleman.
Shout
You
out
know
to
it,
my
right?
Robert W. Coleman.
Any school
family.
named after a famous person, you know it's rough.
Oh yeah, it is rough. Well, we make it through. We make
You
it
know
through.
it's tough.
You should definitely come through and give that speech to some boys because they definitely need it.
Yeah, I talk to the kid, but I only talk to him if I can really talk to him. Like, I like to be able to really talk to them. Because with children, a lot of times we talk at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in school when people used to come and talk to you and you just sitting there like, because you think you know everything. So if you can't really talk to them and kind of talk to them in their language, they tune you out.
They do.
You
That's why
definitely have, and I
stick.
think that the older people forget that you have
What?
to be able to bridge that gap. And another thing with young people, if they don't think you're cool or relevant, they tune you out too. They look at you like you're old, you're extinct, you don't know nothing.
You gotta lie to them. You gotta tell them like you 12. 3 kids asked me today, "How old are you?" I said 12. It was like, "Well, all those kids," and I was like, "That's right. I started at 2."
Hey.
What?
Wow. Wow. I came up with this list, Larry, and I just want to see. I kind of want to see a reaction. I'm going to mention a couple of names. Some that
Sound
you
like
know.
something that puts you on the spot.
Yeah, it is, just a little bit, but not in a bad way. Honestly, not in a bad way. Joe Recker.
A comics comic. My uncle, love that guy. He was one of the comics that really mentored me, and we really looked up to him, like we adored and honored and revered Joe Recker.
Oh my. Hamburger.
Another guy that I grew up watching and seeing him on TV and then having the opportunity to meet him and actually work with him was just incredible. Really good guy and still funny. That's the other thing. These guys are old. They've been doing comedy for a long time, but they stay relevant and funny. Hamburger's still funny.
Red Grant.
I had the opportunity to meet him once. Not like on an intimate level, like really like getting to know him like Hamburger and Joe Recker, but
Okay.
I met him really, it's insanely funny. Like, have you throwing up funny? Like, this guy's that funny.
Last one. Dave Chappelle.
One of the greats. Definitely one of the greats. Dave is one of those people that doesn't make you fall out your chair laughing like a Bernie Mac or someone like that, but he's someone, his gift is his tremendous common sense and his point of view. He's somebody that you just care about how he sees things. So he surpasses comedy. Some comics are only relevant if they're making you laugh, but he's somebody that can make you think and make you look at things from a different perspective. And so that transcends comedy. He's more of a philosopher that uses comedy as his medium.
Well,
Dave Chappelle, the philosopher.
I agree, and I'm glad that he's back and he's on his game, he's doing things. We're going to take a quick commercial. When we come back, we'll have more with Mr. Larry Lancaster.
I hope I'm not putting y'all to sleep.
No, you're not. We're going to wake him up. We're going to wake him up.
Commercial free 24/7.
Tune in to the Buffalo Flavor Radio Show every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
You're not getting enough of his business. You need to ask him about his baby mothers and all
No,
of
I'm
that.
not doing that. I am not doing that. That's not what we're here for.
I'm extremely versed in such matters.
I was gonna say you could walk around if you want to. If you want to get close-ups and stuff.
What I
he want
think
that
I was gonna do
close-up.
is start.
Ladies,
No, he's a videographer, so he has to make sure you get all
Nah,
angles.
I'm just saying.
Some of the different
I keep forgetting
venues or shows that you
video,
did.
videographer.
Yo,
I got you.
I have somebody that I want you to do one of your motivational Mondays for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow, it sounds like it's like super deep.
Yeah, I was
Like,
like,
it's
oh,
like-
it's the pressure is on.
No pressure. No pressure. I just said when she said, I forgot you're a videographer. I was like, damn, that's right, he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got I'm working with a gospel artist now. His name is Minister Karan Jones.
Okay.
And
Is he gonna come here or?
I would rather do it like out and about.
Okay.
We can schedule, you know what I'm saying? Something.
How soon do you want to do this?
As soon as you
I guess you gotta talk to him first, though, right?
Peace, everybody. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your love and support. Hey, Sherry, Chevelle. I don't know who else is on here. I'm sorry, but thank you. I love you guys.
Peace, y'all. Forget everything she just said.
I just told him how great you were.
She's lying.
All of that.
She didn't
All
say
of that.
Just told him how great you were.
She's lying straight on the head.
Not take over.
So, are you still active?
What's up?
in comedy?
Yes.
You still like do tours and stuff?
Travel, go all over the place, still do comedy.
Wow.
So whenever I need to leave school, I just tell them.
Trying to be
"Man,
smart
here."
and got on my finger.
And then I go do my thing.
That's cool.
Let us pray.
Antoine, I can't see without my glasses anymore. It's getting bad. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, shorty. I am right there
Thank
with
you so much for coming, Larry. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
We need
for
to
having
turn
me.
this around. We gotta get him.
Good.
Somebody
Good.
slip him a brownie or something.
Turn who around?
What
I'm good. Why you say that?
No, I just didn't want you to feel subdued and.
I mean, it's.
He just said it's incense and
Excuse
sage in here.
me.
You got a hum.
Which direction were you trying to go to?
No, I just want to. No. I
Miss
don't-
Tiffany just hit me up saying, "Hey Larry, great show. This is Tiffany, and I'm not a stripper." And she said these taxes due soon, so I'm over.
That is funny. As soon as we come back, Tiffany, you strapping. That is funny.
They have a bachelor party coming up.
TGIF Clean Comedy, DMV Laugh House, Melanie. How do you pronounce her last name?
Melody
Camacho?
Camacho.
Camacho.
I don't know
Hilarious.
why they gave that girl that Spanish name. Knowing she from Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I'm just joking.
Oh.
Did you do Awesome already?
She from what?
Lyrical and Archie. You did it already, or is it
Yes,
coming up?
I did it. Great.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, Lyrical and Archie are two of the dopest poets.
Oh my God, they are
Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Archie the Messenger?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to come up here. I was going to do a spoken word day.
Ooh, for real?
You know I'm going to make it happen.
When you do that, you gotta.
Yeah,
bring
that was
this girl-
last Saturday.
Okay.
You gotta bring this girl Unique that was on the Wombat show Saturday. You liked it because you
I
put
did
in
like,
comments.
man, you want to tell that girl I wanted to battle her? I was like, what? I ain't got no bars like that. Where the fly at? Unique? That wasn't me. No. I want no bars like that. They set me up.
Did you see the cipher at the end?
No. Saturdays is rough. Like I'm trying to watch y'all while we running around.
People texting me saying they watching this show.
Really?
Yeah.
Larry.
Yo, the cipher at the end.
You got it on video, right? Yeah, I'll watch it. I didn't want to do this live thing, Larry. You're the first guest that I did it with. I've been holding off from that. I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it. I just wanted to do radio. And they asked me to do it. I was like, nah, I just want to do radio. But Larry's coming, so all right, let's try it.
People like, I like your haircut. I'm like, damn, they watching this shit.
Yeah, I was used to the little. Thank you so very much. One phone call away. I really appreciate you.
Go back to
One Flavor Network.
Hold on.
Hosted worldwide.
All right, now we're back here with Larry Lancaster.
Why y'all have to say my name like
I
that?
gotta say it like that.
Like I'm in trouble with Saturday.
Larry Lancaster.
What was
Did
that
you
song? Larry. Sorry.
No, I don't know the song at all.
See,
I got you.
we're predating ourselves.
Yes, please stop, because I'm not up to that date. Come, little. I'm just saying. He said it. He brought it out.
All right. Well,
All right.
let's go.
Meet Mike number 1, please.
Oh, that's messed up. So, in your career, tell me what is the best part of it? Like, what is your most fulfillment that you get out of it?
Simply just making people laugh. Like I look at it as a ministry, and people need it. People feel euphoric when they laugh. It releases endorphins, and so you can get the feeling of a high without having to, sell your house and lose your whole family and your self-respect. So it's just a great feeling. And I remember one time I was doing this show, and I had to be careful, like, because you control a lot of power when you have a microphone, and that many people are listening to you at one time. And so this guy walked up to me after the show, and he was like, "Man, I just want to tell you, I just drove 18 hours from seeing my dad who's dying of cancer. So I know I'm not going to see him again. So we made our peace with that. And you just made me forget about that for this hour." Wow. And so I thought about, like, that could have been in the reverse. Like, I could have picked on the guy or said something crazy to him and talked about him for 30 minutes and ruined his whole night, in addition to what he's already going through. So that just let me know, like, this is, even though it's funny, you're laughing, you're joking and all of that stuff, you never know how you can help somebody with the gift. So it's to be taken seriously. Yeah.
I remember you telling a story about hecklers and how in your experience you learned how to deal with hecklers.
Right.
If there's a young comic listening, would you give them some of that experience?
I've grown to learn how to deal with hecklers differently now. I used to just destroy hecklers and embarrass them. And I've had some bad experience happen because of that, because sometimes even though people are asking for that, sometimes when you give out that negative energy, it can come back to you. So I've learned how to put people in their place and manage them without necessarily making them feel small. Some people, they don't give you any other choice but to embarrass them. And some people are embarrass proof. I had so many situations, man. I can tell you a million stories. Like one time this lady wouldn't be quiet, and I, tore into her and was eating her up, and the crowd is laughing. And then her son stands up, and this guy was every bit of 6'4" and like 250. I mean, and I like that hostile muscle, not that pretty muscle, like that muscle that looked like I fight in the street all day. And he started approaching the stage and was like, "Look, man, you can keep talking about my mother, And I picked up the mic stand. I didn't pick it up. But I grabbed it and I was just holding it, and I'm like, if he comes to the edge of that stage, I'm gonna take the bass and bust him in his forehead.
That would be a time stand.
Now, of course, I didn't want to do that, but I was able to talk him down, and I said, "Look, man, you had plenty of time to ask your mom to be quiet. I know that's your mom, and I don't want to embarrass her, but I got the mic, and she's interrupted my show, so I had to manage her." Wow. And he kind of understood that, and then he went and sat down. So I've had many issues. I had people grab me on stage. I had people want to fight me after the show. I just had a situation in DC where these guys, their sister was drunk and she started acting crazy, and I started shutting her down, and everybody in the audience is like loving it, right? Because they know she deserved it. But her brothers were upset, and so they wanted to fight me. And I had to talk to these guys and tell them, like, look, why we always want to fight each other? Like, y'all had plenty of time to ask her to be quiet. I said, here's the challenge I'm gonna give everybody. I try to beat people with knowledge now. I said, as long as George Zimmerman is walking around freely, no black man should harm another black man.
That's deep.
If you guys go take care of him and you still angry, then come back and see me. And so now it puts the onus on them, and they look stupid. Sometimes you got, instead of just, your mama got big lips and this and that, sometimes you just gotta let people look at themselves and let them understand that y'all look ridiculous right now. Because we are people. So, we're black people, let's stick together.
Now you gotta get you at least like one security guard, something, brother.
I mean, and some of these places have security, but they just kind of wait and see how things are going to play out, because it's a difference when you do black rooms and white rooms. Right. So they have different language. So when you do a black comedy club, that's called urban. Then when you do white comedy club, that's called mainstream. So when you do a mainstream club, if people talk too much, they have somebody come tap them on the shoulder. Hey, you keep talking, we're going to put you out. Because they don't stand for that. And the white comics don't have to deal with that. Most of them don't know how to deal with that. Now in the black room, everybody want to see you destroy the person. So even the people who are tasked with maybe putting that person out. They sitting back and they want, because that's our culture. Cracking, joning, packing, whatever we call it now. So everybody expects the comic to be able to handle that, embarrass the person, and then the person to shut up. But that doesn't always work. And as a professional, that's the only profession where you mix it up with amateurs. If I was a football player and I miss a tackle, nobody runs on the field to show me how to do it. Right. But when you're a comedian, the amateurs jump out there and think they can tell you how to do the job, or they think they can be just as good as you. Then when you embarrass them, people's feelings are hurt. So
I was about to say, don't get it twisted, because if you ask for it enough, I've seen him make something back. I've seen him shut quite a few people up, so don't get.
But
I'm politically correct answer.
No, I'm just getting older, and I just try to be more mindful of those type of things.
But just to think about the psychology on that, like the fact that you said like the difference between the white and the black, that's deep to me.
Yeah. It's definitely a difference when you do those 2 rounds. Sometimes I've done clubs where the white people, they count how many times I said MF. The crowd, no matter how much I'm making the crowd laugh, they want to count how many times and I'm like, first of all, any curse words we learn from y'all. It ain't no word for MF in Swahili. We came over here, right? So you always had these keepers at the gate, and it's even racism in comedy. It's really prevalent in comedy.
Do you do racist jokes?
I don't do racist jokes because I don't think black people have the power or the institution to be racist. But I talk about race. I talk about social different things. But yeah, I'm not a politically correct comic at all. So I talk about all those different things, but I talk about the crazy things black people do. I talk about the things white people do. I talk, anybody can get it.
I'm going to say this, and we're going to get ready to wrap it up a little bit, but whatever you do, if you're sitting front row at Larry's show, maybe not now, I'm speaking from experience, don't come in late. Don't come crossing the stage late, because he will eat you up. I was telling Tedra on the way here, I remember we were at the Haven working together, and you were on stage doing your thing, and you know how the Haven was set up, and I walked across, and you were like, Hood, really? You just gonna walk across my show? I'm like, wait, I'm sorry.
Let me defend myself. Sometimes when we do these comedy rooms, because you got comedy shows, and you had comedy venues like a comedy club, then you got a comedy room. A comedy room is like a nightclub that's really not set up for comedy, but they'll do comedy shows there. You have to manage that traffic, because if you're not good and you don't command the room, people will get up and just walk all over you like you're doing comedy in a subway station. So what I learned to do is I'll address a few people walking back and forth, and then people kind of, okay, I don't want to move. They'll sit there and wait to pee for 45 minutes because they were afraid to walk back. So that kind of controls the movement, and you get everybody's attention.
Sit there and wait, man. Sit there and wait.
And you hit a person, you don't spend 30 minutes on somebody, you might just hit them real quick and enough where they can laugh at themselves and keep it moving. But I don't like when
go to the bathroom when he's not.
It was like a brother giving a sister a jab. Look, sit, don't do that again. No, it was lovely. Larry, how can people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me through my management, Julie King, and I'm gonna give her number out so people can harass her. 410-917-3048. You can catch me on all social medias. That's comedian Larry Lancaster. Also, this Friday, I'm going to be at the DMV Laugh House. I'm real excited about this because it's a new venue, and they do a wonderful job with the performers and stuff like that. So I'm going to be there this Friday at 8 o'clock, and that's 4050 Powder Mill Road in Beltsville, Maryland, and it's an all clean show. They don't let any comics curse.
Give me that information because I'll keep that.
Yeah, so for the people who kind of like, I went to the comedy show and the comics cursed too much or they were too vulgar, here's your chance to support something. You said you wanted it, so this is what they provide for you. Now, I'm not an all clean comic, but I will be for the respect of that venue.
Okay.
So I'll do all clean material.
And I apologize real quick. Purple Honey.
Purple Honey is April the 14th, and this is one of the best. I'm going to step out there and say the best show in the DMV is poetry, comedy, spoken word, neo-soul, all in one show. We got Eric Robeson headlining, and we got Mamuna, Mumu Fresh, who's just an amazing beast. We got this beautiful, talented sister named Rebecca Dupas, who's about to get her doctorate, and she's a gifted poet. And we have April Sampay, who's just one of the best, most talented hosts I've ever seen. And then you have me, Larry Lancaster, to add to that with the comedy. So it's a real grown and sexy type of deal. They're going to be at the Radisson, which is in downtown Baltimore, and that's April the 14th, and that's 6 o'clock on a Sunday. Make sure y'all come on through, man, and check that out.
What time is it for Friday?
Friday is 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7. Showtime is 8. And I'm on there with a real funny brother. Like, I'm afraid to go behind this brother. His name is Clean Raheem. He's so funny. He came to my club where everybody was cursing and talking about oral sex and all that stuff. He didn't utter a curse word and ripped the joint up. But a lot of times people don't understand that if a comic is really funny, you don't even notice they're not cursing. And if they're really funny enough, you don't notice they're cursing either. You get the funny of it. And a sister named Letitia Harris is also my feature. So that's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, I will have that information for upcoming shows. We'll repeat that. We'll have it on social media. Larry, give me your social media one more time.
Comedian Larry Lancaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Saturday, I'm going to be at the Pisces in Hilton. Sunday with David Cowser. And that's going to be jazz and comedy and dinner. That's a real sexy deal. So that's going to be at the Pisces Club in the Hilton, which is downtown Baltimore. And that's this Sunday at 6 o'clock. And that's going to be a great deal.
And I'm your +1.
Ladies, +2,
+2. We're going to ride. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your love and support. Larry Lancaster, thank you so very much
Thank
for
you
coming.
guys, man.
Miles, Tay, Mr. Antoine, did you even say hello to the people?
You didn't have to.
Mr.
just
Antoine,
jumped
say
in.
hello
He's
to
the
the
silent
people. No,
partner.
he's going to say hello. Say hello,
Antoine.
Antoine.
Antoine's our man.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
You sound like Russell Simmons.
He sound like Marshawn Lynch.
Thanks for coming out.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Next week, we're going to do it again. Follow us. Stay tuned. Follow me on social media. Let's Talk with Kesha on Facebook and Instagram. Let's Talk with Kesh on Twitter. Village, I leave you as I came.
I thought it was Keisha. Sorry.
Ooh.
30 years.
You know that? Keisha, Kesha, Pudding. That's a whole nother show. We'll deal with
The
it.
cash, right. That's
Yeah,
that's
the
when you
cash.
Afrocentric. That's Afrocentric. That's Hotep for Keisha. That's all that is.
That's Twitter because
That's
they
Hotep
wouldn't let
for
her have
You
Keisha.
ain't give me no
They wouldn't let
love.
her have
That's
the
Keisha. Keisha got a
Cash.
perm. Cash has dreadlocks. That's the difference.
Oh,
You know what? I think I like
Yeah.
that. I do.
Cash use chemical.
Shea butter.
mango butter, cocoa.
Village, I leave you as I came. Spread love, teach peace, be kind to yourself and others. We will see you next week.
Hotep.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, Hembe. A Baragon.
Peace. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please reach out to comedian Larry Lancaster across social medias. You can reach out to me at Let's Talk with Kesha on Facebook and Instagram. Worldwide Flavor Network. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Y'all need anything else from me?